So for me, success is true happiness.
What is true happiness?
Right. Right. What's true happiness to you?
So my name is Qiana Aviles. I am a serial entrepreneur in the beauty and fashion space.
You start realizing that another zero in your bank account really doesn't define anything. I definitely believe just your time, and I think that's our greatest possession because it doesn't wait for anyone.
But now you know the value of time. So was it worth it?
Wow.
Qiana, welcome to You Versus You.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm very, very excited to have this conversation. As we were just sharing, we got a chance to meet on a panel. I don't even know how I ended up in that panel, to be 100% honest. I was thinking about it today because I was like, oh, that's where we met. I don't even know how I ended up in that panel, but it's the beautiful things that life does to connect to people. And I think ever since then, we've been able to share. First of all, I share the joy of the amazing things that are happening in your career.
Thank you.
And I've been able to also share some of the conversations we'll be having today. So I'm excited to get into it. But first, I want to give you some flowers. So let's start with your business trajectory, right? You own 5 different businesses in the beauty space.
Right.
What would you say has been the biggest key in making those successful?
I definitely believe it's like the drive behind it, right? The consistency and just always showing up. I think it's very important, and just the relationships that I've built in the different businesses, and I always believe in just pouring back. So I think that shows in whether it's in my team. I never call people employees, etc. But I think that that's a key to a lot of the success that I've accomplished so far.
What is it about calling them team instead of employees?
I feel like we both need each other. I feel like we complement one another well. So it's like, the old saying, one hand washes the other, two wash the face. So yeah, that's how I believe. And not only that, I think they bring so much value as well, and just respecting them as individuals. So I think that's why I like to call people, and I think we do it together as a unit, not just me.
What do you consider your own strengths to be?
I think I mentioned this before too, right? Like just this burning desire inside of me. And before we spoke a little bit about, I just feel that it's funny how you mentioned there's all these things are within you. And sometimes we're always like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? But it's obviously within you. So I do feel that that's one of the things, the burning desire that I have inside of me to continue to want to grow in every sense of the word, not just as an entrepreneur.
Where do you think that desire comes from?
Oh, I think, just humble beginnings and everything that you're exposed to at a certain age, and maybe even conversations that we've may have heard, like, you have to do this, you have to, just to succeed. And before you know it, it's pretty much embedded in you without you even realizing. It's just me. I don't know if I was born this way but it's definitely just me to have that just burning drive inside of me that doesn't seem to fizzle for some reason.
It's interesting that you say it's embedded in you, right? Because I think it shows you how your brain is so much like a computer, right? It takes what you give it and it starts to implement it as its own law, right? But it does that with the good and the bad. I think in people who become successful in business or professional athletes, there is a drive that is embedded in our programming chip that allows us to kind of persevere. Right? The question becomes, at what cost?
Very true.
What do you feel that having that drive has cost you?
Oh, friendships. I mean, so many things. I feel like more so, as I just stated to you before we started rolling, you just outgrow certain situations. But I feel time sharing with family, with friends, people who really matter to you. I feel like all those things you definitely compromise for what you believe at the time could be the greater good for many things, whether it's for you, for your family. for society, right? Like, so I definitely believe just your time. And I think that's our greatest possession because it doesn't wait for anyone.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of You versus You. If these conversations are inspiring you and are bringing value to your life, please make sure to subscribe, join the community, and don't forget to share with anyone who you think needs to hear this. Thank you for supporting the show. Now let's get back to our episode. So knowing now, right? Because I think when you start, you don't see or you don't understand the value of time because you have this goal. Just like, again, professional athletes, us, that we're like, I want this, right? Then you get to a certain point where you've accomplished enough, right? Or what might seem like enough, because for people that are driven like you and I, sometimes enough is not enough. But now you know the value of time. So was it worth it?
Yeah. I think so. I think some people, some individuals, certain things have an expiration date, and it's okay. And to be quite honest, I can speak for myself. I think it's definitely been worth it, and it was a blessing in disguise at the time that may have not realized. So I'm actually happy that I've made the decisions that I made.
What is success to you?
Back then, before I reached success, and you start realizing that another zero in your bank account really doesn't define anything. It's just a material thing. I mean, if we have some type of outage or something in the banking system, who would we really be, right? Like, so for me, success is true happiness, and also being able to just pour back into other people and having the means to be able to do that.
What is true happiness?
Right. Right. I think that's what I'm identifying, or every day continue to want to obtain. True happiness. I'm happy because I can do the things I want, but right, what does true happiness really look like at the end of the day?
What if I told you that had nothing to do with your success?
Right.
Would it make you stop?
Yes and no, because like I said, I think for me, it's not just about me anymore. It's about others. So until even if I can impact, I don't know, a few people, for me, that it allows me to keep going. But if you said if it was in me and I can stop, sure, why not? I want to live a soft life. But yeah, it's interesting. What is true happiness? What's true happiness to you?
If you would have asked me that maybe a year ago, I would have told you accomplishing more. I would have told you, like, being able to do more, being able to give back more to people, being able to continue to supply the dreams of my families and of my team and of my clients. But I very quickly found out that is a story I tell myself, because the rat race never ends. And you'll always try to find something else you want more. And then the pretty car you just bought, it's not as pretty as the one you just saw. The things that you want to do for other people, you very quickly find out they're humans just like you, and they'll make decisions for themselves, just like you will. And you start understanding that all these things are, or at least I started to understand that all these things became excuses, became stories that I told myself in order to feel like what I was doing had purpose.
Right. Do you feel as humans we will ever stop as human beings saying, oh, I obtained this, now I can go on to the next? Is Lex ever going to hit a spot where he's like, I'm good?
I think the realization of you versus you, the realization that it was never going to stop, is what brought me to a place that said, I actually don't need any of this. And some people might say, well, you say that because you have it. But the thing is, if I would have never had it, I would have always questioned, oh, I feel this way because I don't have it. I feel this way because I'm not this massively successful person that people think is cool. But then you get there and you realize you actually never needed it. Right? The concept that we don't have time for our families because we are working towards our dream and this needs this much of dedication is a story that we believe And then we live by that, not realizing that it's a complete opposite of that. About 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, I had to make the change between being an entrepreneur and a CEO. And it's two very different things, right? Entrepreneur, you're excited, you're going, everything is possible, every hardship feels like death. But at the same time, you're like, I can accomplish the world.
Right.
Then you realize this is a job. In the middle of that, I was having a conversation with another really accomplished CEO, and he was like, "Hey, well, Lex, what are you doing this year? Like, what's your travel plans?" And I'm like, "Dude, what do you mean? Like, I don't know what my next week is because I'm always changing." And he said to me, "Ha ha ha! Well, you're not rich enough then."
Oh.
And I was like, "That's interesting." I said, "Here's the thing, Lex. A CEO doesn't get paid to do the work. He gets paid to be the vision. And you can't be the vision when your time is all consumed in the work."
Absolutely.
And I was like, "Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about it like that." And then I implemented that into my internal work and said, well, that's actually the reality in everything in my life, is that everything has just been a story I told myself in order to feel fulfilled, in order to fill this hole that I'm trying to fill called happiness. But it's really hard to have joyful moments where your security is based on what happens that day, on how much money the bank account has, or the nice car that you drive, or, the man or the woman that you're dating, or if your parents that day did or didn't do something, or if your team did or did not something right. Absolutely. Your happiness is always riding on these things that are uncontrollable. So then it begs the question again, do you need all of that to be happy?
No, absolutely not.
And then it begs the question again, when is it enough?
And also, when you said entrepreneur and CEO, how did you relinquish? Like, how did you start letting go and actually being a CEO?
By realizing that I don't actually control anything.
Got it.
It's another story I tell myself, right? Like, I have to take this job. I have to write this email. I have to send this. I have to box this. I have to do this. I have to run. I have to jump. I have to. No, you actually don't have to. Because here's the truth. How many times have you planned something? How many times have you created a product and thought of everything, and then it doesn't work?
Very true.
How many times you've said, oh my God, today's a beautiful day. I'm going to wear this. You come out and it starts raining.
Yeah, very true.
You generally don't control anything. But we've been taught that we have to be the drivers. Like, you cannot be successful unless you drive the car.
Right. Almost like we've been taught to kind of control your own destiny when it's really not that way.
When you're just a vessel. And I've shared this a couple of times in the conversations, which is I realize the ride at the back of the car is a lot nicer than being the driver.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, it's nice. But we don't take that concept into our lives. And so we sacrifice time, we sacrifice our emotions, we sacrifice all these things because we think that the result of that will be success and happiness. Because you want success to be happy.
Right.
Right? Because if money has no value to you and you're happy being, a hippie who skates around and lives by the beach. Right. Then happiness and money don't actually, it's not a mathematical equation that makes sense, right?
The mathing.
Exactly, the math ain't mathing.
Right.
And that leads me to my next question, right? What are you afraid of?
I think I spoke about this earlier. I don't know why I am this way. And I know it might sound crazy, but I don't give those words power. Afraid, scared. I don't give them power. I feel like I've been through too much and sacrificed too much in life to have moments like this and be afraid or shy away from them. So I'm really not afraid of failing. No, I'm not. I don't believe that. So I'm actually trying, besides like mice or snakes, I don't really identify with something that I'm afraid of. I don't know if it's because of everything I've either overcome or, so I'm not sure, to be quite honest.
Do you feel stressed?
Yes, but only for a few moments. Like I don't let it consume me.
What stresses you?
It could be something like, oh, I have to get this accomplished, or I have to do this by a certain time. Even when that's going on, it may happen. I might get stressed at the moment, but I let it go. So I'll have a moment, but I won't make it like a monument.
What do you tell yourself to let it go?
I pray, and before you know it, it's as if it's never happened. Oh, it's not happening. Like sitting here now, like, you have goals to accomplish. You have huge goals to accomplish. And it's like, all right, it still hasn't hit yet, or something hasn't, but I'm sitting here having a conversation with you as if it did.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I want to maybe identify, like, what am I fearful of, or what, because I don't think I am. I've faced moments in my life where it could have been end all be all. And at those moments, I felt a sense of like a woosah, like I'm ready to face the music. So that's why I'm trying to identify what is that really. And I never understand where so many people are so afraid to take the leap of faith. That doesn't register to me. So I would love to understand that better.
You would love to understand why it doesn't happen on you?
No. What is everyone so afraid of or fearful of? I really want to understand that concept.
It's interesting because fear is a story, right? I think that just happens to be maybe a muscle you have, maybe stronger than other people. But fear conceptually is the lack of trust that everything will be okay. It's interesting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because your brain is registering something
Mm-hmm.
that for many people I would say is very similar, right? Like jumping into a business. I agree with you. I don't fear starting something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that has no, I'm like a natural fire starter in that sense. But in that process, there's also the fear of what if all these things that I'm doing is still not it?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That ultimately leads you to figure out why you don't define happiness. Because the supplement of work and accomplishment usually creates a deficiency somewhere else, right?
Very true. You put it
What
like that.
part of your life do you feel there's a deficiency?
I don't know. We got to figure it out. We have to figure it out, because it's definitely something that, now that you put it that way, it's interesting, because it's really two of the same.
Is there an area of your life that you feel you've had to sacrifice for success that you, looking back, maybe wish that you wouldn't have?
Yes, I'm not married, nor do I have children. So that was a sacrifice,
Why?
because that's all I was focused on was work. And I kept saying, I remember people were asking, when are you going to have kids? And I'm like, another 2 years, another 2 years. And they're like, you've been saying that the last 5. And it's like, you don't realize that. And now I'm like, maybe if I wasn't so focused on work or being driven, it would have happened. It's like I've been forced to play these roles that it's almost also masculine at the same time, right? Like, some women don't always want to lead all the time. So I think that's a huge sacrifice. Family and children, I think that's a huge sacrifice, as a woman especially.
And I'm just intrigued, right? Because honestly, I understand it, right? In my personal life, the story, because it's all stories, the idea and the story that I need to go after all this, or also caused a lot of relationships to not work out. Or so I thought that it was because of work. And then I started to understand that there's a lot of other things deeper than that.
Right.
And as I identify those things, I started to realize that I just wasn't willing to learn them. Right? Because I think sometimes it's always easier to blame somebody else.
Absolutely.
Always easier to be like, nah, but that person did that. But that girl,
Right.
she ain't doing this and doing that, or this guy doing this and then that. It's a lot harder to look in the mirror.
Very true.
Is there things that you feel that relationships have taught you, or the lack of relationships have taught you, that life is still trying to teach you, maybe you're not listening?
Yes, of course. I feel like what how I felt in my yesteryears is totally different, or I have a different point of view, and I've learned patience, just a lot of things, especially when dealing with another individual. You have someone else in your life. So yes, absolutely, I do feel that I've learned in that. I mean, have grown in that department in regards to. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I don't think it was me. you know, um, I'm not the common denominator for sure.
What would you say is the common denominator?
Maybe just timing, timing. Sometimes where people are in life. It could be a number of things.
Would you say that that's what you want the most right now? A family and kids?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
are you
He's
in the
like, "Are you trying?
process where
Are you
where we
trying?"
at? I mean, this is going to turn into a hot,
right. Um,
call
um,
411 for information on how to.
uh, yes. I think I was, but again, sometimes you pick the partner. May have done that already, and you guys are not on the same playing field. Which I feel sometimes you men need to be honest from the door, just not to waste anyone's time. I think both parties should be honest from the door to not waste anyone's time. Because some men, when they're faced with those decision making, they're like, oh, wow. So
Why do you think that is?
some men have been so damaged in the past
Mm,
when they found that person, they run away from it because they don't want to feel hurt again.
interesting.
And I know that for a fact because I've been told that.
In the work, I started to realize is we are all just hurt people,
hmm
right? We are all looking at things from a POV of our filter. So we could, when we look at something in a lovingly present, when we look at a woman or the circumstance or even an argument, right? From a loving heart, you are open to the fact that your POV is not law. And then when we see something being bad, it's fear, right? It's fear that whatever you are doing is making me maybe less than or not as good or
Or
is
not good
touching
enough.
on an insecurity that I have that is being triggered by whatever you are bringing up in my life.
hmm
And I think the common denominator in the human condition is whether that's a relationship with your team or a relationship with a brother, a sister, a father, a daughter, a relationship is that we take our POV and we want to make it law, not realizing that we're just filtering the information through our trauma, through our life lessons,
Very true.
and the fear.
Here we go with that word again.
And the fear. It's interesting. You know why? Because it's a word that I think when you're successful, you don't register as much as normal people register it because most people don't kind of accomplish their dreams out of fear, right? Most people quit right before the final line.
Right before it happens, yeah.
When you're a successful person, when you've accomplished things, right? You tend to have that as a strong
hmm
part of your mind.
hmm
But it's usually intended to hide something else because it usually leads us to accomplishing what we want.
hmm
And then when the doors close and you're by yourself
You're dealing with yourself.
and you're dealing with yourself.
hmm
So what is Qiana dealing with?
Well, we just tapped into one, just like, is it meant for me? Is it not? Accepting it, right? Um, and moving forward with that. And just pretty much at this point, it's, making sure my family is okay and so forth. And just obviously obstacles that come about with your business and wanting to succeed. But I think I have to like break that down further, because that's like on the surface, right? Like how do you break it down even further to really see Because you stand in the mirror, right? You look at yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. That's the one and only time. Like, this is it, right? This is you that you're looking at. But it's like, let's go deeper. You know what I mean? So I that's something that I would definitely want to do. Like, what am I facing? What am I really, really dealing with? I can't be this strong. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, definitely, I don't know. I don't feel like what am I really dealing with? You're right. When I'm alone, besides making it happen, like making everything happen.
Yeah. It's interesting. Right? I think this is what led to this podcast because, again, everybody sees accomplished people as like superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, most of us are having a hard time facing that mirror and identifying, as good as we are to solve problems for everything else in our lives. Then when it gets to our emotional, and then we feel guarded because we, the story is we can't show that.
Right.
That's a sign of weakness. And there's sharks in the water. They're going to come bite me.
Right.
But we start living with this trauma.
Do you think we live with it, or just like sugarcoat it, or just
You
put
live
a
with it.
blanket over it?
Because even
and you,
the
as you living with it, you just like brush it under the rug more and more, or into your inner self. Is that what you're?
I think we like to pretend that it's things that you can shove or you can hide, but they're not. Because the moment you're with yourself, you're asking yourself, is it meant for me? Is it not?
And actually accepting that, I don't think it's hard for anyone to want to really accept that, right?
But it's an interesting concept for someone who's so successful as you. Because if I would tell you that in business, you would probably tell me, what am I accepting? Defeat? Are you kidding me?
Right.
Honey, look at all the shit I've done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
you're right.
but your mind doesn't register that in your personal life. Your mind speaks what you've been teaching it. And Qiana's been teaching her mind that maybe it's not meant for her.
Right.
So that same, I don't have a fear in business.
It's the fear of not having a family, children. Got it. Makes sense.
And you're not registering the same level of intensity you do in business in your personal life because it causes you to face the fear. And the fear comes from trauma.
Gotcha.
So the question becomes,
what traumas do you feel led up to that?
And when did it start?
And when did it start?
It's interesting how your brain works, right?
Absolutely. Sometimes without you even realizing it. Would you say that's your subconscious mind?
Yeah, I'd say that your subconscious holds into every information. And it registers, I would say, in my personal experience, I'm not a neurologist or an expert in this field, but it registers the emotion it causes, it sends that to your mind instead of registering what actually caused it. So you feel the fear, but you can't truly understand where it's coming from. And so the work comes because it's very much a computer. Where did it start that I am afraid of not having a family?
Well, maybe as you get older and it's not happening, so you're like, But I guess I maybe embedded it in before it even.
Do you see what your mind just did? Created an excuse for itself. I'm going to use your strong side again.
Okay.
If I would have told you that in your business side, would you have accepted that?
No, absolutely not.
Would you said to me, Lex, you're crazy, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain just brought up, made your mouth open, and it used an excuse for itself. If I tell you, okay, at your age, can you become successful again if you had to start from zero?
I would say yes. I would.
So does age play a number on it or not?
It doesn't. So I'm making an excuse.
Your brain is making an excuse.
Wow. I never looked at it that way. I mean, they do say, speak into existence the things you want and desire, but I guess I never looked at this way because I would always just say, like, whatever, if it's meant to be, it'll be. Another excuse. Is that another excuse?
But I'm just surprised because Qiana, the businesswoman, would have never accepted that.
No. And it's funny because I mean, this is maybe a little personal, but I have frozen my eggs, etc., because I was almost determining, like, this is how it's gonna go down, like, but I shouldn't do that. Definitely shouldn't do that. Okay, so after this conversation, I might go out and it may happen. um,
Again, it might happen.
it will happen.
Your words, remember, your brain does not know the difference between reality and what you're telling it. And you ever bought a car or you started looking at a car? This is the best example because I think it happens to everybody. You ever bought or wanted, I don't know, let's call it a G-Wagon in blue. And all of a sudden, you start
China
seeing
blue.
G-Wagons in blue. Oh, there you go. And then you start seeing it in blue. You're like, oh my God, I never noticed. Your brain took it and the blues were always around you. You just never give it the importance in your brain. So your brain is registering, hey, this might not be for you.
Wow.
So the man that's for you might be right in front of you. You might not even see it because you're telling your brain that it might not be for it.
Right. Very true.
Everything else you haven't accomplished while you have goals. In our conversation, you pointed out the most important thing, right? Your number one goal is the one goal you're lying to your mind about.
Wow. It's definitely an interesting way to look at it. Thank you for bringing that up.
You know what's amazing to me? How our mind works.
It's so crazy.
And how we tell it all these stories as safeguards to not look at the trauma. But the trauma is there, right? Somewhere in your lifespan, you felt that fear for the first time. And what I realized in my personal work is that little Lex, sometimes I got to go back and be like, hey, listen, look at this. You're actually okay.
Wow.
I would say that having that moment to yourself to understand that feeling and where it came from will give you a starting point. And then comes the work.
Right.
Right? The programming, the reprogramming, the part that needs you to use that same motivation and that same determination and that same discipline that you use in your business for yourself.
Makes total sense.
But that reprogramming is doable, just like you can reprogram yourself to
But how
change.
do you, with so much going on, it's a lot of work, right? That you have to do. Obviously, once you've accepted it, you understand it, but how does that then go to actually applying it with all the noise that's around, everything you have to do, everything you have to accomplish? Because that's now you got to feed your mind something totally different than you've been feeding it. And then, like, as you stated, this may be one of the most important, but I'm sure there's other things that I think of, but I'm so used to telling it or making an excuse for it.
All the things you have to do.
Okay.
Do you feel success is a big part of your identity?
No.
Is there a number in mind where it's enough?
Sort of.
Why sort of?
Because if I obtain it, I haven't made a full decision whether it's like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to set into the sunset. But I think if I make that number, because when again, being so driven, once I get there, I might want something else. So, and then I think my job will never be completed because, as I said, it's no longer about me. It's about how many people I can impact. I think your true purpose in life is how many people you can help change, impact in your life. That's your true legacy. It's not about money. It's not about none of that stuff. Your true legacy is
Mhm.
how many people you impacted while the time you were here.
I'm going to share a story with you
Okay.
because I'm loving our conversation.
Thank you.
And I'm asking 1,000 questions
No,
because
no,
honestly,
please.
but
I want to ask you 1,000, but I know we're going to run out.
No, we don't. Listen, this could be as long as we want it to be, right? We don't have to end anything.
Okay.
I'm happy with that.
Okay.
But, people don't realize, like, even though we've met before, we generally have never had, first of all, a deep conversation, let alone like outside of a couple conversations here or there. So to me, it's really interesting because you define purpose as leaving a legacy, helping people and being a part of people. I had an opportunity where I went deep into myself, right? I took 3-4 days off to like really go deep into internal work, into doing some medicine work, into like really putting that out. When I got out, I was sharing it with a client of mine. I was like, oh man, yeah, this is transformative. And the client started crying. And I was like, wow. I said, thank you because you doing this so that I don't have to. And I was like, huh? And it clicked. You're only as good as you work on yourself. So the real purpose of life is not everybody else. It's another story we set ourselves to protect ourselves from
Right.
having to look inside.
Where it's no longer about you, you're making it about everyone else.
Because you don't want to look inside.
That
Right?
makes sense.
It's easier to judge everybody.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, it's so much easier to give someone a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
You can be like, oh my God, Lex, you look so handsome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're accomplishing so much, all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, I look fat today.
Yeah.
Oh, this shirt doesn't look good on me.
For me, it's like, I haven't done enough. And people around me are like, are you crazy or something? And I'm like, it's not enough.
Fear.
Mm.
You see
The
that?
one word that I constantly say I don't have, I do, I guess I'm not identifying it.
Because you're using the same technique the other way. My purpose and my value comes from helping others.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the legacy.
Mm-hmm.
No, your real value and legacy comes from working on you.
But then how do you share that with others? You
That
don't?
goes automatically,
Okay.
right? I get to share my internal work with you today,
Mm-hmm.
and that helps you.
Mm-hmm.
We build community,
Mm-hmm.
right? The mind is like a computer. So there's things in the computer that you're doing by yourself.
Right.
You're listening to this podcast. You're reading a book, the book I shared with you,
Yes.
right? There's things in the computer, and I say this in every podcast, but there's a thing in the computers where I need to call you. To be like, hey, listen, I don't know how to use Excel sheet. Can you use it? And you'd be like, there you go. This is
Right.
community,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's why it's so important who you hang around with.
Yes.
So important the people that you have around you. It's so important. Even sometimes, again, there's things that you can get from parents. There's things that you can get, but it's so important for you to realize what information is coming in. And then there's times you need a Google engineer because the computer is fried. You got to take it to the Genius Bar, right? And that's that next level of meditation. That's that next level of medicine work. That's that next level where you need to unlock your mind to understand.
Mm-hmm.
That is the level that goes deep, deep inside internal.
Yourself.
Because we have all these lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Our filter is, how do I share it with other people?
Right.
Why do you want to share it?
Yeah.
Because you associate your self-value and the value of your life with giving.
Giving. Mm.
So if all the people you give to throw it in your face, would you still feel the same?
Right. Yeah, you're right. You probably wouldn't.
So when I was going through this work, my spiritual leader said, you like to give.
Mm-hmm.
The question is why?
Mm. And what was your answer?
Well, I think I'm naturally giving. Well,
It's like, no.
So the question comes, if they throw it back in your face, will you feel the same? Or are you giving when you feel good? You're giving because it's part of your self-value.
What about when giving makes you feel good?
The question is why?
Right. And why do you feel like when I see someone that I give and I see their joy, that's what brings me true happiness? I mean, well, I'm sorry, happiness, because I still have to, I guess, identify true happiness.
Mm.
So,
It brings you a moment of joy.
joy, right.
Yeah.
Why?
It's identifying and triggering something in your life that feels fulfilled. And usually, at least in my personal journey, because again, I'm not a neurologist, a psychologist, I'm not in any way professionally trained, but I can talk about my own value is, I generally do feel like I like to help people. But in that genuine part of helping somebody, so most times it also comes with the not looking inside, because I am looking for that fulfillment in something external. Sometimes it's giving to people. Sometimes it's accomplishing and getting a nice award. Sometimes is, having a woman say, hey, you look good. Sometimes, whatever it is.
Right.
Right? There's 1,001 triggers that can trigger these things in all of us. But the truth is, you shouldn't need any of that. Right? The truth is, everything you need is already inside of you. You're already okay.
That's so interesting.
There's literally nothing that you need. You don't need the money. You actually don't need to give, right? You don't need any of these things to be okay. Now, when you're okay, then all those actions become secondary things to it. But you're okay. The question is, do you feel okay?
Right.
And that's the hard thing to face in the mirror.
Yes.
Because
I would
nobody's arrived.
No,
right?
yeah, I would
I
agree.
don't care if you're a pastor or the biggest spiritual leader or an author or a psychologist. No one has arrived. We all have trauma. We all have fears.
Do you feel it's sometimes traumas that people can't identify? And this is why?
Yeah. Well, I would say most of it is prisons we create that are really difficult to come out because we've been taught that difficult is scary. Right? What you've mastered in business and what you talked about, no fear, is because in business, you've been taught and you've seen people around you, whether that's family or otherwise, not have a fear in making money. So you've identified that as that's my security.
Got it.
Just like me. I saw my family, my mother, not have that fear to go out and get the money. And that made me, I could do it all. But that other part over here, the part that she didn't teach me how to deal with, the part that she doesn't deal with, the part that most successful people don't deal with, that's the part I'm not going to touch. I'm going to leave it locked up in the box and put it to the side.
Right.
I'm going to make it a bunch of other things. I'm going to say is everything else. But I'm not going to touch that. What? But that's the work.
So true.
And I think that when you've been able to accomplish the things we have, you really quickly start realizing how there's something missing. Because you got there and you still feel this empty thing. And sometimes you think it's because you're not big enough. You know? Like you just went into Walmart. Well, you don't need Walmart. You need Walmart, Target. You need, Amazon. You need
I need it all.
Yeah, I need it all. I need the world.
Right. I need to be in everyone's household. Yeah.
And that,
I'm chasing the wrong thing.
you said the word, you're chasing. The key to success is to attract, not to chase.
Not to chase.
Crazy, right?
Yes.
It's really crazy.
Interesting.
Let me ask you something. Now that you know this, right? We've had this conversation. If I was a genie and I could give you anything you want, what would that be?
Definitely to tap into that inner that you speak of, that inner, to just be able to identify it more and work on it. I think that's what I would love to do.
Love that.
because yeah, you really have to work within out.
I love that. Let's go back to your strengths, right? Because I think a lot of young women are going to watch this
Mm-hmm.
and they're, going through different life circumstances. Today we live in a society where beauty is defined by how many likes, or
Right, which is
there's
crazy.
a standard look to how a woman should feel or look in order to get men's attention, or so-called story that
Right, right.
has been fed to the masses. When you look at those girls and they say, hey, I would love to be successful, have a business, to overcome some of these hardships that have come, what advice
Would
can
I
you
give
give those
them?
young women?
I feel it depends where you're at, right, in life. It's hard to tell someone to block things out when, like you said, society, it's so like, you have to look a certain way, you have to be a certain way. I believe just being true to yourself. I feel like even we all, as women, we all go through that, like, oh, maybe I should do this or maybe I should do that just to feel a little bit better. But I truly believe if you take what you have from within and work on that, which obviously now I realize I need to do more. And that's the thing, right? You never stop working on yourself.
No
You
one's
should,
ever arrived.
right? You should never stop working on yourself. But I think love yourself more than anything. I believe, because nobody can make you happy. So in a relationship, et cetera. So I think as women, it all depends where we are in life. And I would definitely tell them to love themselves first and foremost, and then see what you're truly passionate about and go for that. Don't jump ship so many times. Like, focus on one thing and give it your all, and don't chase money. Because I truly believe when you love what you do, the money will follow. Just go with the flow and see how that, and please do not rush the journey. I feel like everyone's story is so beautiful, but everyone wants to jump, especially with the day and age that we live in, where everyone just wants to be an influencer or do certain things on social and thinks it's going to happen overnight. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's a journey, and you should enjoy that journey because it's actually beautiful and it's your story. And no one's story is exactly alike. So I think that is what's most important as a woman. And I would tell a fellow female trying to be successful as a businesswoman.
It's you versus you.
You're right.
It's just it's
All right, Lex. Watch. I'm gonna call you and say, guess what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
you're
you
right.
versus you.
Do you think it's because sometimes I've been saying it so long that that's what I've attracted?
100%.
Okay.
The same rules that apply to all the amazing things you've done in business and you've attracted them, same rules apply the other way. There's no different science to it.
Yeah.
It's just it's your mind. It believes what you're telling it.
What you're telling it, yeah.
And I think that's why I say we got to watch our stories so much, because we're with ourselves more than anybody else. One of the tools that I've learned to use to help me with that is to learn my body language. So when you're normally thinking about, maybe it's not meant to be for me, your body changes.
Do you get those moments?
I do.
Have you had panic attacks or any of that stuff?
More than I would say panic attacks, I get the anxiety of stress, right? Like, I identify the problem that's happening, and my doer in me is like, you have to go into action. And that's stressful because I don't know the outcome. And while I trust my ability, there's always the what if. And so I've learned to notice that, or notice this,
So you get angry.
or notice and be like, oh, whoa, stop. Just stop.
Do you ever have a moment where you're just like giving someone an attitude and deserve it? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you come to the point where you go back and say, you didn't deserve that, my apologies? Or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah. And At first, I struggled with the difference between setting boundaries and learning how to become. And I realized that the learning how to become is my responsibility.
Do you feel that the people who love you get the least of you because you are always on,
Yes, I think.
do they get the attitudes? Do they get the lashes,
Um,
or whoever's around you at that moment?
I would say historically, yes. Historically, I would say level set emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, I don't say I get angry, I get frustrated. Right? It's like a very different thing. It's like I get frustrated with the fact that something's not going the way I want,
Mm-hmm.
and it freaking drives me nuts, and I want to go, "Ah," you know? And then I started to realize it's fear.
But what about when people are telling you, why are you angry? And it's like, I'm not angry.
I'm just frustrated. Why are you?
Right.
But the truth is, it comes all the way from fear. It comes from me registering this thing that has happened, right? And it happened to me a lot, honestly, in relationships.
Okay.
I historically would be like the knight in shining armor,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my God, Lex is the greatest man in the world.
Yeah.
And then fear kicked in. It's like, oh, but is this the person? What if not? But it's like, am I making a bad decision? Am I failing? But I failed in this part before. And then the girl would say something that I know is to be truth, but it made me feel less than enough because it registered through the point of feeling like, does that mean she thinks I'm not enough? I'm no longer the knight in shining armor?
Yeah.
Well, she's making me feel like that she's too problematic. I gotta go.
Go.
Right?
That is so true.
But it's really
That is so
the
true.
fear that I'm not enough. She's just speaking
But why would
the
you feel
truth.
you're not enough with all your accomplishments? And you were just a shining armor yesterday. Why not today?
Because little Lex,
Got it.
that little guy on there, one day he registered that maybe he wasn't enough. That maybe his dad having another daughter with a different person meant that it wasn't enough. That maybe someone telling him one day, whatever, don't do that because you're not going to be good at that. By the way, it took me 35 years to figure that shit out. How about that? Okay. I'm 40. It took me 35 years of my life to figure out where that
sitting here
person.
having this conversation with you, it's allowing me to figure certain things out. And you saying, well, maybe when I just looked at it like, okay, that's just tough love, right? And it's just like, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. Or there's always that one person who's like, I'm going to continue to bust your chops no matter what. And I'm like, let's say I can do an amazing speech, get off, and then that certain person who's like your role model, not my mom, by the way, she just loves everything I do, may say, you did great, but you could have did this.
And it registers. And
I mean, throughout your whole life, and it's almost like I'm always gonna be the realest one with you, and it's like, okay, but I need to also hear this,
But that's the story as well, because the truth is, chances are that person is also dealing with the trauma that's causing that person to do that.
Which I've come to understand.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is just what you were taught and what traumas were embedded in you and so forth. So but sometimes you can't continue that's generational curses without even realizing it.
I have an exercise that I do every time to end our beautiful time together.
Okay.
We talked about the power of words and how we tell our mind, right? And we've talked about and touched on how your mind receives, I can tell you I love you, or I can tell you something bad and it'll receive. You can read that same in the text and your body will still go. Our words have power. So what is one word or one phrase that Qiana could tell herself right now that could change how her mind, her body and soul perceive the world today and the rest of this week?
One thing I would tell myself is really tap in, go deeper, go deeper. It's okay, to let go and just really love yourself more to be able to then be a force or really focus on that first.
Qiana, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much
I
as
appreciate
well.
our time together, and I look forward to having many, many more
Yes.
conversations. I give you your flowers. You're an
Thank
incredible
you.
woman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not only for the amazing things you've accomplished in business, but every interaction I've had the pleasure of sharing with you has
Thank
been
you.
pleasant, has been amazing. I clap from afar,
Yes.
but
That you do. And I thank you and I appreciate it.
but
Because
I,
sometimes it's when you need it the most, without you even knowing. But maybe that's the universe saying.
maybe that's definitely the universe
Yeah.
saying, right? Um, Thank you for sharing, intimate parts. Thank you for going down this journey. I enjoy every second of our conversation, and I look
Thank
forward to
you.
having many, many more.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I feel like I mentioned to you before, it's just being able to have amazing conversations with people who are like-minded or just on similar journeys. So it means the world to me that you had me on your amazing new show. And I wish you the world of success, continued success. And as well, I'm always rooting for you as well. And I wish the best for you. And thank you for having me. And I will continue to have those conversations with you of just growth in every way.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in to You Versus You. Please subscribe, like, and share as we build this community and we help each other to live the life of our dreams.